Hi guys, how are you? Welcome to this space where we live, love and laugh, and the God Did It stories continues. And today I have a really good friend of mine with me. Tumejona miaka ngapi?
Oh, that's a good question.
I think since I cleared high school.
So that's 4, 5?
I need remember degree, nikaingia postgraduate.
It's been a while. Yeah.
But karibu sana to Conversation with Chelsie.
Asante.
Did you, I keep wanting to ask for this question. Did you think I'd ever start a YouTube channel? Is it something that you thought would ever cross my mind?
I don't.
Where are the words?
So I don't think so. But just because I'd never thought about it. But again, it's not beyond anyone, so to speak. And I think like you also have a wealth of resource to share in terms of even from your relationship with God that has been consistently growing over the years. And so, yeah, no surprise. Yeah.
So, this person does not need introduction to many of you. Mnamjua, you have seen him in your screens somewhere.
Hopefully.
They have, I'm sure they have. You probably like one of his songs. Yeah, and do you need an introduction? But you can tell people who are
so the guys will be watching 150 years from now
and wondering.
If you don't know, this is Nduati. I was a legend back in the days. Anyway, my name is Nduati. Nduati Murigi info, and also on my socials. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
You're a gospel artist.
I am a gospel artist. I do rap music and poetry, spoken word as well.
Yes, you're a fantastic spoken word artist. Actually, even though kujua tukiendanga KNH.
KNT.
KNH ni hospitali.
KNH ni hospitali.
KNT. Yes.
But nakwanga msick pia, so I see why you were confused. But yeah, it was at KNT we were doing. There's some poetry gigs. That's why I actually started. I started with spoken word and poetry, and then later I was like, I can also rap. I might do this as well. And then that came in, kind of took over, but sort of not complete.
And you're very talented. He's very talented. Kabisa.
God is good.
I think every time I have an event and let's say artists, definitely you're one of the people lazima nifikirie.
Asante. Yeah.
So Nduati today has a story for us, a God Did It story.
Yeah.
I reached out to Nduati and told him I want to do a video with him. Graciously he accepted, and he said, you know what, I think I have something to tell people, a story that I can share with people that can encourage them and inspire them. So
So aside from today is that 1st October when we are filming. I don't know when you're watching it at, but it's that 1st October 2020. It's the last day of October. A month ago, sometime like now last month, I had a friend who challenged me and she was like, you know what, something we should do is to like every single day of October write a gratitude list. And so every single day is just saying, this day I'm grateful for this day I'm grateful for this. It's something I'd never done. Or rather, like I would say, yeah, I'm grateful, but I think it makes a whole world of a difference when you're actually recording and you can look back and see. Yes, so I was writing October 1st, I'm thankful for this, October 2nd, it's this. And so when you're able to see what God is doing every single day, and you have something to be grateful for. Sometimes even there are bad days, but you realize there's something.
There was like a highlight of that day.
Yeah, and now even that allowed me to be more reflective even of my past. And so when you texted me and you asked,
let's do a video.
Yeah, let's do a thing, and you have like a God Did It story. I think I thought of how I had reflected, and I was like, okay, this is ideal because this has allowed me to be in that space of reflection, and I can be able to share something. And I was like, sure. And so I'll just share. It's just my salvation story, but it's very significant for me. So when growing up, I never had ambitions. Not one bit. I know some guys usually always say, yo, me, since I grew up, all I ever wanted to be was a lawyer or a doctor or a pilot, and they're probably that. Like, kudos to
5-year
you
plan.
guys. I never had ambitions, you know, and I
What
was
class
that type of
kuulizwa
person.
what do you want to do when you grow up?
I was giving a very diplomatic answer. I'll give you the answer you want to hear. So I'd say, I remember in class 1 I wanted to be an astronaut, but that I don't know if even that's how it said, astronaut, whatever. But that was because it's fancy. It's about going into space. Nini, probably I've watched cartoons. I guess around class 4 I wanted to be a pilot, and that stuck for a while. But again, it was just about being up in the sky, nini, but no distinct thing. I guess when you get to high school, that's when like you should have a bearing and like specific. At least tukiwa high school uko na kitu unataka kudu. But I remember I didn't have anything, and so I just used to say engineer because I guess I was good in sciences. But that's it. I would say that because I know that will please you. If I say anything else, you'll be like, you aim for the stars. You know those nothing. Yeah, and so that's what I would tell people. But deep down, there was nothing I was longing for. I think my life was today and now. I was the cheekiest person ever, and that was just me. So high school was just an interesting phase where that cheekiness came out. So nikiwa mtoi, obviously that cheeky things you do, like I can't mention even them all. But I'd probably just want to say, I'd probably want to tell one story of, I think when I was in, probably this habit started in class 8, but it ended in Form 2. But what I used to be was a thief. Before I was stealing girls' hearts, I was stealing things. So anyway, I'm kidding. But I used to be a thief, just for lack of a better word. And so how it happened was, I used to go to a shop and I'm asking for a non-existent thing. At the time, it was something called Andrews. So Andrews was like but ilikuwa outdated, so it's no longer there. So I don't know what's the equivalent of that now. Fat birthday.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Yeah, but it's like it's not there. It's no longer in the market, but now you go ask it. So it's a credible thing to do because the shopkeeper will tell you, is that as a anymore or something of the sort. So the point was, if I go and ask, mkona hii, Nikki atasema hapana kako. But kaa kuna msee, napata haya, duka ina mtu. And so
it was your way of checking if there's someone there.
Yeah, it was a way of just, safely knowing, is there someone home, basically. So if there's no one, I try to figure out where the money box is. If it's within my reach, I reach out and I grab something and I go. So that's how the habit started. Pole too. I think it started at home because my parents used to leave cash, like maybe kubai skuma jioni ya kukula, and I would pick something. Then charity begins at home. Unatoka nje. So that's what happened. So I used to go to shops. I don't think I was ever caught, but I did it a good number of times. I'm sorry guys if you're watching and like there's a day you're shop. I lived in Car West and like you realize the subway ingi. Naomba msamaha, unaweza nitafuta kizakayo kurejeshe mara 4. Usinitafuta isado. Anyway, so but that was the story, and then like it even graduated to now I would go to people's houses, and the idea was I would go to like flats. Sidhani zinaitwa apartments hiyo time, just flats. Makoploti bus. And what I'd go in, and then I'm trying. So unajua kuna ploti zenye, so kuna ploti and then kuna corridor all around or something of the sort. But basically the corridor is to the different doors. So there are some home designs where the master bedroom, the window to the master bedroom is on that corridor. And so what I used to do, same thing. So naenda kwanza majioni kitu 8. Saizo wazazi wamefika home, but wako huko wanapanda sesmia na lamperde mivita
Storm of a Paradise.
Ndo wanaziwatizo ni masops hiyo time. But anyway, so I know they're there, or they're with their family, they're not in the bedroom, but they got home and they got stuff there. And so I would try to see if the window can be opened, and then if it can, and then the bag is close by, then there's my chance, and then I get in and I get something. That wasn't as fruitful per se, but I did make away with some cash here and there, you know. But that was me. And so that was the type of person I was. And thinking about it, had God not come through,
Different story.
ilikuwa ina grow.
Yeah.
Labda hata ungekuwa na hii simu ina record, ningekuwa nimekupata pale audio. But yeah, but that's the point. And so just thinking about it, because
you know, sometimes you don't realize it ukiwa hapa when you're recording. Watu waende ku-edit.
Yeah,
Au sikia anything, unasikia tu hizo.
Yeah. So, but you can see the progression, that it's slowly growing, and that would have happened. I think it stopped out of a scare, for sure, in terms of kidogo tu nishikwe, or rather, I was doing that maniniz, alafu nikasikia light imewashwa, alafu wakaona mkono. I think they were just coming for something. They didn't know there was anything, but light ikawashwa. Akaona activity, akasema, mwizi! Nilitoka mbio. But the good thing was, okay, not the good thing, why am I celebrating that I wasn't God? You know, but the thing was that saa before atoke bedroom, mazunguke hivi atoke na zemendo, mimi nishatoka stairs, nishakimbia mbio sana, nikaenda. But that was the type of person that I was. So if you think about, when we talk about salvation, I don't think it's just about getting to heaven. It's about living a more
transformed life. Man.
Sorry.
It's okay.
So when you think about salvation, most of the times it's often equated to like going to heaven.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. Kupenya, fire insurance, eternal fire insurance. Yeah, but that's the idea. But I think it's more about living a meaningful life.
That's true.
And that's something, when I look back, I think that's something that definitely Jesus saved me from. In terms of, there's a chance that would have been my lifestyle, and that would be a very poor, despicable way of living life.
Yeah.
I would be just...
I think in this channel we have said that we love Mkurugenzi Abomtua.
Yeah.
And if you listen to his stories when Akichapa stories are people who have been crying, you know, he just always says that it never ends well. Yeah. I agree. You know, thinking about it, I don't think you've ever told me this story.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so thinking about where your life is and how I know you right now, and imagining who you are and who you would have become. As in,
totally different. And that's the idea. I often look back. That's one of the things that I look back and I think, if Jesus hadn't stepped in and saved my life, I don't know where would I have been. You know, I'd be of those stories. I used to steal Kwadom in high school, and like, say graduate to unajua, and so that would have been me. I got born again in 2013. I was in first year in campus. So all this while, see, I'm telling you guys, I never had ambitions in life. So even when I went to campus, I went to Moi University to do a course called informatics. I just chose that course because one, that name is so fancy. Even you guys don't know what it is, but it's like IT. So that's why I chose the course. And then number two was, it was like in my comfort zone because it was about computers. Growing up at home, my dad owned a computer and I'd do some stuff here and there. So back then, computers weren't as readily accessible as it is now. And so as compared to my peers, I think I knew a thing or two about computers. And so that's why I chose it. I thought it's going to be an easy ride. But it wasn't necessarily because I wanted to be that in life, or I knew what I wanted to be that in life. And also looking back, I'm like, you're 19, 20, and you're still, like, you're just there. So that was the type of person I was. But I got born again in when I was I think that's 2013. Yeah, it's not them years. Mdu mama. But I was 19. I was in campus first year. Another reason I chose to go to Moi is because and you can see the graduation vibe is all along I lived close to home, so I wanted to go far away so that I can do all the mathogodhanios I wanted to do. And so even just being born again like in first year, I think just after first semester to go to so you know
before you even
you start is all mathogodhanios that you are planning to do. But that's when I got born again. And then maybe 4-5 months into getting born again, because I got born again in April 2013. I think it's in September 2013, we had gone on a mission to Malawi. So I became more active in the Christian community that I found myself in a network called Family, Big Up Yourselves, wherever you are. They were very fundamental in me coming to faith, especially because they were very welcoming and hospitable when we joined campus. So I used to hang with them, and now when I got born again, I was more active, more intentional, and so on and so forth. So we went on a mission to Malawi. Funny story is, so we were going by bus. So it was to take a certain amount of time, but we were delayed at a certain border, and we took longer. So our ETA we got to maybe like 8 p.m. What happened is we got there at 2 a.m. So I remember the guys were calling us, where are you guys? So we got there at 2 a.m. So we are starving because we knew we get there at 8 a.m. we eat, 8 p.m. we eat. Yeah, you guys don't know where the story is. So we get there at 2 a.m. So we are hungry. We're like, just bring the food that's there. So there is, I can't remember clearly, I'm just sure there was beans. So in the morning, it's day one of a certain conference, commissioning, and we are there, we are seated. But so this is a Kenyan team, we were like maybe like 20 people. And we just realized on day one, man. So I hadn't noticed, it caught me afterwards. But our people were coming in, going out, coming in, going out. So the point is, easy beans to haribikia. That's it.
Okay. Nashanga, where are they coming in, going out?
So when you're preach, but sisi mazee. Like, because we ate, it was called mbaya, mileage. So hata mimi kanifikia at some point, I was like, okay, I see what's going on. So I had to do those rounds. But while doing those rounds, I think I was just thinking about it was amazing for me to be in Malawi one. I was like, oh wow, I'm the one now who's doing missions to tell people about Jesus. And then I think I was still new in the faith, and so it was very fascinating what Jesus has done, and that's something I was constantly reflecting on. So the story is my first spoken word piece. I wrote it like in the loop basically. That's what I'm saying. It was in that moment of tunaingia tunatoka. That's why I wrote like my very first piece. So like hata nikiwa primary and secondary, if you ask my people back then, hakukuwa na tio, nilikuwa na rap name.
Kama venye watu wanakuimba sijui when they were 2 years old, unajua kwa performianga kwa sitting room.
It was never there. And so I remember I wrote something. I said it to some people, and then they said, yo, that's so cool. I was like, oh, is this a thing? And that's where it started.
Do you remember the lines to it?
I wish I prepared, because Jesus is the way. No? Oshoro. I know it ends with, it's something like, I can't remember, but I know the ending rhyme was like Oshoro. So I was saying something like, Yesu amenieka huru amevunja minyororo. I really can't remember.
It's okay.
Oshoro, Yesu ni mtamu, sijui ka Oshoro, Oshiono, ka ujui it's Jesus. Sijui mweke katikati ka meno za incisors. That's the only bit I remember. That was cool bar. Anyway, but that's where it started. And just to be honest, I really often and always just say that's God's gift to me. You know, it wasn't, I wouldn't say like it was like I used to do it as a kid,
Yeah.
and now, because now I'm born again, I'm doing it differently. Or to say that I've worked hard
Which was something that
this.
it was
Yeah. No, it just came out of nowhere, and I believe in line with getting born again, God gave me this gift. And so I continued to use it here and there. And it's allowed me into different spaces, significant spaces. But the most important thing, it's allowed me to impact people's lives. And so just seeing that people are inviting me so that I can share this with them, and someone comes afterwards and says, yo, that was so fantastic. When now I'm able to do music, and in person people say that was great, or I see someone in the comments saying, I had never thought about it that way, that's fantastic, or something of the sort. And I'm just thinking that's just God gave me something. So this is just in line with, from a person who didn't have ambitions to now someone who's making an impact, and definitely it's God that has given that gift to me. And then now, as I continued in my campus life, I guess bit by bit, it always occurred to me that God was calling me to ministry. I'd have people confirm the same. In my heart of hearts, I was like, okay, I think God wants me to be like in church or something of the sort. I even struggled so much with school, and I wanted to quit. Because I was like, okay, I won't use this thing, for sure. And also that came to be in a sense, because I finished school in 2016. 2017 nilikuwa tu, I was working with some company over there, but then 2018, that's when I joined in church ministry. And even when joining, I remember I was very green. On the very first day for the meeting where we were being introduced to the entire church, I remember just telling God, I'm clueless, but I know you want me to be here. Let's see how this goes. So it's 3 years later, I'm still there. I've been able to see God use me to just to be a part of the church, to bring change and transformation to people's lives. And so just thinking about it now, I'm like, that's so amazing that God took this person who
was going nowhere.
Legit didn't want to go anywhere, and took him and decided I'll do something.
I'll take care of you.
Yeah,
I'll take care of you and give you a gift that you had not ever harnessed before.
Not at all.
And here you are. Honestly, your spoken word is anyone can attest to it. And the beautiful thing about your spoken word is that it's interesting, it's funny, it's engaging, and saa zingine, I think not everyone wants to sit down and listen to a pastor preach. But when they come to a concert and listen to you give your spoken word or minister through your music, it speaks to them. It speaks to them. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's true, and that's my God did it story. It's not an event per se that I was Nini and then one day everything changed. But I can see God was present all through. It's been 7 years of salvation right now. It's been 3 years of church ministry. It's been maybe around 5 years of doing music. And I can see God deciding to use this kijama and deciding to touch people's lives here and there. And right now I can say I'm a totally different type of person in terms of I do have ambitions. I do see what God was doing when he was creating us. I do see what Jesus wants to do in this world that we live in, and I want to be a part of it. I'm reminded of Matthew 6:33 that says, like, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and like all this and his righteousness, and all that these things shall be added unto you. And also, like, just generally, ever since I finished campus, I remember my greatest fear was being in need, because kuna stories za kutama or hizo vitu zote nini, and that was a genuine fear, especially because I had also seen it close in my life, cases of being unemployed, being needy, and such things, and just like God sorted me out, and I think it was in line with also just desiring to know him and desiring to use these gifts that he has given me. And it's through these things that I'm able to, one, further the kingdom of God, and now secondly also just my needs are being met, you know. And so all these are the things that I've been reflecting on, especially this month. I'd encourage you, if you can, to do the same. Just decide maybe this month, or even starting today, I'm going to be writing what I'm
You'll be intentional to see the highlight, the good thing in the day.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised that God is doing something every single day.
It's true. And the interesting thing is that it can be nimepata matatu. There was no traffic.
Yeah.
It's so simple. It's not I stumbled on 100,000.
Yeah.
It's just simple things that make your life better, make your heart glad. So true. You had a really good meal.
Yeah, and to realize that God works like in the small things as well, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes we wait for the big testimonies, and like, you know, like today you got out, you were able to go to work and come back. That's a small piece of a bigger thing that God is doing.
Yeah.
And you might not see it now, you might underappreciate it now, but it's very vital to what God is doing through you. And yeah, that's you.
That's my last words. That's just you even in me. Or do you have anything? I feel like that has just pieced everything together, but you can give these people last words.
Yeah, I think it would be just along that lines. It's God is constantly working in the background. I'll say last words to different types of people. One, to the person who's feeling probably stuck or nothing is happening, and you're hearing other people's stories and you hear big things. God is working even when you don't see it, even when you don't realize it, even when you don't think about it. Like when you're sleeping, God is not sleeping. God is watching over you, you know, and you never think about it, but like
He's concerned.
He is constantly aware. He is constantly working, even when you don't realize it. And so for you, I just want to say, even now when you feel like, okay, leo sija make progress, month sija make progress, season ya corona sija make progress, though you may not perceive it, God has been doing something, and eventually you'll be able to look back and see it, you know. And then the second thing is probably for someone who's watching this and you don't know Jesus, you know, as the person you've decided to follow and to dedicate your life to. And what I'd like just to share is, I personally decided to give my life to the creator of the universe and the one who has a blueprint for our lives, and I've seen him do amazing stuff with my life. Just thinking back, you would be a nobody, and like the point is not that now people know. The point is, there's someone somewhere who's saying, oh, I like what Nduati did and it touched my life, or it encouraged me, it empowered me, like I can
your life has meaning,
a lot of meaning, you know. And so like for you as well, like Jesus desires the very best for you, and sometimes we tunamwekanga kwa sideline juu tunataka kuishi life na to realize yeye ndo kuishi life na kumweka kwa sideline kukosa life, so to speak. And so that just to encourage you, like consider it, think about it, find someone to talk to about it. But it's going to be the most meaningful thing you'll ever do for yourself. That's yeah.
And if you want to, you could just comment in the niambia. So
Yes.
and I will intentionally plan to get in touch with you.
Atakusaidia.
Yeah.
I vouch.
Sawa, thank you so much guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. And please encourage them.
Oh,
Or subscribe.
thank you for watching, guys. If you're here, we love you. Thank you for being at our channel. At this either here
Yeah.
or here. Here there's a subscribe button, and then you can even click on the bell so that you're notified at any
Every
given
time
point.
we post.
Like, comment, share with your friends. It's been amazing being with you. We love you. See you next time.
Bye.
I'm so good at this. Shucks. Should start.
You should start your own.
But yeah.
Thank you. Asante sana for being here.
Karibu. I'm glad this happened.
Acha Nduati tupe peace.
I'll do something short. I think we are in a very politically tense time. we have our own local conflicts with BBI nini nini hizo vitu zote, but we also have Maju and just this. I think it's election season right now when you're recording this, and it's very tense, and somewhat we can't ignore because what happens there somewhat affects us. You know,
yeah.
we are also like a global community, and somehow US are a major power and they affect everything. But anyway, so I'll just share something on where our hope should be in. Yeah, so achana na kina Trump. Yesu ndiye serikali, damu yake ina nguvu shinda zote kemikali, msalaba si ya kubeba kwa shingo kama medali, ni ya kuweka kwa mgongo ukienda Kalivari, una die to self, una live to God. Ndio uponota lazima leave the boat. Kuokoka ni rahisi, kukiri of course Yesu ni Bwana, but kumbuka ana hate divorce. Kuklingon hakuna kulook back, kavile Mugabe alifanya Zimbabwe. Lazima wajue huyu Yesu ndiye Yahweh, penda haleluya kuliko mabuna ye. Kidogo tu ya kuwaonjesha, alafu nitembelee ile side.
Yes, I will link down your YouTube channel. Yes, you can go listen to his music over there, and also his socials where you can meet him and interact with him.
Sure.
Okay.